Hello and welcome back to the Outdoors Station with me, Bob Cartwright. And I know it's a while since I have been with you and looked at any videos and reviewed any gear, but hey, about time we cracked on and got back into the saddle, so they say. Right, well, this one, as you can see, is about the Gossamer Gear Mariposa, the Robic rucksack, which came out from them in 2015. I've been a bit tardy in producing this video, but having said that, I have used the rucksack a few times, so hopefully some of the hints and tips and suggestions might help you along as we go through the video. So without further ado, let's head off to a secret little studio somewhere and check out all the features. The Gossamer Gear Mariposa, a 60-litre rucksack, great for all-round long-distance backpacking. Comes from a great pedigree. Gossamer Gear have been known to make some very good packs over the years, and this pack came out in 2015. This is the Robic version, the material used, which has been an upgrade from the ripstop Dyneema version, which came out a few years back. It's a 60-litre pack. The main pocket, the central pocket, is 37 litres, and the rest of the pockets go to make up the capacity, and actually they do so in a very, very useful and practical way. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a tour around the rucksack, have a look at it, and then discuss some of the practical points. As I've actually used this rucksack several times myself, I can give you more details about how it performs and some of the areas which you need to be aware of. So, as you can see, very, very large front pocket there. Something that the Gossamer Gear Mariposa is famous for. Most rucksacks, a lot of rucksacks have large front pockets, but in this particular case, this one is capacious. It's huge. Look at this. So, inside this pack, inside this pocket, you can quite easily get your day's worth of stuff. By that I mean your waterproof jacket, perhaps some insulation, waterproof trousers, gaiters, gloves, hat, toilet trowel, etc, etc. Or of course, if you've got a wet tent, you can put a wet tent in here and that can dry out during the day. As you can see, there's a couple of drain holes there at the bottom on the left and right there. So it is designed to hold a lot of material, a lot of items which you can get in and out quite easily and be exceedingly useful. So you don't have to go into the main pack to get your daily needs. Something I found very, very useful over the years. The bottom of the rucksack, this version has got a few new features. It has walking pole tips there, so the tips of your walking pole can clip into those plastic fittings there, and then at the top of the rucksack you would create on one of these tabs here, there's several of these tabs, there's 6 on each side where you can attach some shock cord or whatever to hold the poles in place. And then if you've got ice axe needs, there's obviously an ice axe loop here. You can do the same on the other side. Going to the top of the pack, up here, we have a pocket. Again, some more attachment points here and here, which allow you to lash cord over the top. No doubt this is more for the American market with the bear canisters, but also obviously it could be useful for a whole variety of things depending on how you configure it. But as you can see here, there is a very slimline pocket, and this pocket runs round the top of the lid here, all the way around there, and it's suitable for flat items which will curve easily. I found in practice that tends to be paperwork, maps, that type of thing, but anything bulky in there is awkward to get access to when the pack is full. So from the front of the pack, very fine looking pack, and as I say, nice all-round access for this large front pocket. Going round to the right hand side of the pack here, we've got 2 pockets, top and bottom. Now this bottom pocket, you can see, has got an elliptical access point here, very elasticated, and once again, give you the close-up on that, you know, it's a large pocket. So in here you can put your water bottle, perhaps a wind shirt, some food, some day-to-day, some daily snacks or anything else you might need. And of course, once again, it has a drain hole in the bottom should any wet items go in there. One of the most important things about this pocket, and because of the angle of the access point here, it does mean that when you're wearing the pack, you can slide your hand quite easily, your right hand quite easily, to grab the item and then tuck it back in there afterwards. So that's great. Above that we have a second pocket. Not quite as capacious as the lower one, but not bad all the same. A lot of people use this pocket in different ways. The general thing I've noticed people using this is usually putting a brew kit in here. So you have a sort of basic cooking kit, or your complete cooking kit if you're on your own, in there, your daily needs in the pocket below. But again, very, very useful, and failing that, that's obviously a great place for additional snacks, rolled up map, whatever. On the left-hand side of the pack, we have what it's famous for, is this long, deep pocket here. Now this pocket does actually make the pack exceedingly useful. As you can see, once again from the close-up, I put my arm all the way down there. This is not a small pocket. You can get a lot in here, and you can easily get a two-person tent rolled up in here. Now, once again, of course, it's got its drain hole at the bottom. In practice, I've found this is very, very useful, because you've got the ability to pack your tent down at the end. The last thing to get packed is the tent. The first thing that goes up is the tent. And again, it means you don't have to go inside the rucksack to access it. It's all just rolled up in a tube and shoved down there. And that is extremely useful. Now, coming on to the back of the rucksack, we have the new harness system. Now, the previous Dyneema version, the straps were quite wide and they weren't particularly thin. Sort of the foam inside them was not particularly thick. They've changed that this time. They've used some custom air mesh fabric to make the straps. I'll bring that down to the other camera there. As you can see, which makes the straps much more breathable, which is quite nice. And if I tilt them that way, there you go, you can see they're much fatter as well, which actually gives a little bit more comfort to the ride, as it were. Going from the top, we have the traditional grab handle. The straps themselves, as I say, are slightly narrow, which makes it a bit more unisex. We have fitted a lot of these rucksacks, and they don't work for all women, but obviously it depends on the body shape. It's like a pair of shoes. You really have to try one on to see if it's right for you. But we have the upper cinch strap there, which obviously brings the weight forward when you're wearing the pack, which is great. Then we have a whole variety of attachment points down the shoulder harness, so that if you are using a hydration system, or you want to clip on a little pocket with your GPS or phone or glasses in it or whatever, it can be done. So there's a loop here, a couple of more clips there, a few more clips down here. The chest brace is nice and positive chest brace with a built-in whistle, which is always useful, just to let people know where you are if they're too far ahead of you. And of course the chest brace slides up and down on the harness here. At the bottom of the harness we have something which was also on the previous pack, and I really don't know why they continue it. This is this odd clip which I've never seen anybody use. So when you pull the shoulder harness tight using this tab, I think the idea is that you clip it together to stop it flapping around. But to be honest, it's in such an awkward place on your chest that and very uncomfortable. I've never seen anybody use it. So my suggestion would be to actually cut these off, which I've done on my particular rucksack. I found them have actually no use whatsoever. The other thing that we found from experience, again from using it and from customers that have bought one of these packs, is these sliders can unclip in use. When the webbing gets wet in use, we found that when there's tension on it, it can work its way through these little access gaps which are on each clip. So it's something worth keeping in mind and keeping an eye on. It is easy enough to keep them there and put them back in place, but it's just an inconvenience when it happens. Now, again, universal, unique to the Gossamer Gear range, is this external padded area. So it's supplied with this foam padding here, which is the back system. Now, that is removable, so you can take it out, you can sit on it, use it as a sit mat, or you can use it as part of your sleep system as an extension, shall we say. But the actual ability of this elasticated pocket top and bottom, which makes it so useful, means that you can actually get a sleeping mat, something like a Neo Air, or maybe one of the Sea to Summit sleeping mats, the ones that don't have much bulk. When they're deflated, they can actually be folded into sixths and sit behind this. So quite easily, you can literally just do that, slide your sleeping mat in there, about that wide, about the same depth, and put the mat back again. It obviously gives two things happen. It gives the rucksack a little bit more structure, so you can carry weight a bit more easily, if you like. It protects the sleeping mat, because the sleeping mat is obviously sandwiched between the foam and the content inside the rucksack, which makes things quite useful. And it removes the bulk. So it removes the bulk of having your sleeping mat stashed inside the bag, and it's carried externally. So when you actually look at the practical use of all these pockets, it does start to really come together. So here you have all your day's needs as regards clothing. Here you might have your water bottle, a stash, food, etc., with options to have more here. In here you have your shelter system. I mean, if you're having a simple shelter system, you can even get even more in there. In the top pocket you've got perhaps your maps or additional flat paperwork and so on. And as I say, on the back of it, behind here, you could have your sleeping mat. So the whole thing suddenly has carried quite a few key components which bulk out the rucksack externally, and they carry it really, really neatly, which is the most important part. Now, as I said at the beginning, it doesn't come with a hip belt. A hip belt is an optional extra, but obviously everybody prefer to have a hip belt. And the reason for that is the hip belt comes, just like the rucksacks come, in a variety of different back lengths. This particular one, the Mariposa, comes from extra small right through to extra large. I mean, we're talking extra small, we're talking people about under 4'10", so perhaps a child or child size that's getting into it, and the extra large will cope with people up to about 6'7", 6'8", which is a pretty extensive range. And the hip belts, which are extras, I'll go on to that in a minute, they're obviously also purchased for the right waist size. But to put the hip belt in, you literally, there is a gap there where you can see my hands are now joining, and inside there is a Velcro pad, and in that Velcro pad will match up to the Velcro pad that's on the hip belt, and that will stay in place, which is cool. Right, so the only thing we haven't done is gone inside the pack, so let's just do that. We'll release these straps. Now, it's got a over-the-top closure system is how Gossamer Gear call it. So there's a fold, our natural fold here, and that clips down obviously onto the straps there, and that's the closure system here, which is, rather than a draw cord system, they've used a little clip which narrows down the neck of the pack like that when you're packing it away, and stops the material flapping on the outside, and obviously gaining water, letting water ingress get into it when it's raining. I'll come back to my comments on that in a minute. But inside the pack you have the removable backstay, which is very simply done. As you can see, it just slides out there. There are two channels where my fingers are, there and there. Very easy to locate those channels and slide the stay in and fold that over. You might find you prefer to use, as I say, the sleeping mat system tucked behind the foam padding, which would give you the frame that you need, and you don't need this. You save a few grams by removing that. Or you might just not like the shape of it. It's the way it goes. People are all slightly different, but it gives you the option. Then you also, behind these pillows here, I don't know if you can see that, but down there where my fingers are, there is a large 2-litre pocket for a hydration system, should you wish to use that. And the exit holes for the hydration system are where are they? Here and here. You can see that they're just the top of the shoulder harness, so once again you can have your hydration system come out to suit your own needs, left or right. So that's in there and in there. From experience, this over-the-top closing system I found worked okay. It worked okay. Like all these things, they work okay on a nice sunny day, but actually when it's cold and wet and your hands are numb and you've got gloves on, trying to push these clips and press the buttons to pull the clips open can be a little bit inconvenient. So I think I would prefer to have a draw cord myself, just so that I know the neck is closed a bit more. But it didn't actually stop the rucksack performing as it should. It was more a case of it was just a little bit frustrating sometimes. So there you have the Gossamer Gear Mariposa. As I say, a 60-litre pack. One other comment I'd probably make from experience of using it is the pack needs to be full for it to compress. What do I mean by that? Well, as you can see from the way the two pillows I've got in there at the moment are making the material fold over the top here. What that means is that if the pack, as you can see from the strap here, let's just do this. So that strap now is at its lowest point, the connection there. In other words, if this rucksack, if the capacity at the moment inside this rucksack was too low, it would do this, and this would then be a loose piece of material. So in other words, in use, it's good to have the pack at least that full, so there's something pushing it up, so you can actually have the opposite tension when you pull down the external adjustment cords. That's quite vital, because if you've actually managed to do as I suggested and put all your day-to-day needs around the outside of the pack, and it does leave you with a lot more space inside, 37 litres, don't forget, you're talking what, sleeping bag, clothes, accessories, perhaps a pair of shoes or something like that, you still need to fill the pack to a certain level for it to compress. And obviously, like everything else, you know, when you compress at the sides, if you wish to do so with these tabs, or at the back, top to bottom, it needs to have a resistance to compress against. One thing I have forgot to mention, that inside every pack, on the top pocket when you receive it, you will get a piece of cord, a metre long cord, and a couple of sliders, adjustable sliders, and that's designed to assist you down the side of the pack to create the compression. So, I think I've covered most points on that. Having used the sack, it's been very, very comfortable. What I have found from some of the customers that we've serviced with it, when they're actually measuring their back, that if they're on the cusp between two different sizes, if possible buy both sizes. If you're buying online, buy both sizes and send back the one that doesn't fit, because everybody's different, and it is like buying a pair of shoes or a pair of trousers. It can be very, very subtle in certain ways, and what looks like it should fit on paper isn't necessarily always the case. Now I'll just put that to one side for a second and come on to the hip belts. Now the hip belts are the same custom air mesh fabric on the inside there, and they come with two small pockets. Well, I say small pockets, really medium-sized pockets, about the size of my hand there, which is big enough for GPS, a small camera, that type of thing. Now when you look at these pockets these belts online, they come with a minimum and maximum measurement. Now the minimum measurement is as it's configured at the moment. Obviously the webbing here cannot be reduced anymore because it's up right against the pocket. Let's look at that in a bigger, closer camera. There you go. So the webbing there can't be reduced anymore because the pockets are in the way. So when you look at that and you measure your waist to go with that, then do consider you want a couple of inches, sort of 5 to 10 centimetres, possibly 5 to 7 centimetres addition, because if you're walking and you're losing weight as you walk, which can happen over a couple of weeks period, you need to still be able to pull that belt tight so it's supporting the back system correctly. The maximum, of course, is the maximum at the other end of the scale, at the other end of the tab there. Now The balance, if you do measure yourself at home on this, the balance is getting this right, so the hip belt will obviously curve round the hip shelf correctly and sit on the hip shelf. If you have a belt which is too large for you, therefore the pocket starts to disappear, not at the side here where you get to it, but actually starts to disappear around the back. So do be careful when you're actually measuring for the hip belt. But the hip belt is, as I say, the optional extra, and they come in 4 or 5 different sizes, and the smallest size is too small to have a pocket on. There you go, the Gossamer Gear Robic Mariposa. Okay, so now you've seen it in the flesh, let's now have a look at some of the technical specifications. So the Gossamer Gear Mariposa is a 60 litre pack, as I pointed out earlier on, and the main body is 36 litres, but the rest, the most useful space, is all around the external pockets of the rucksack. So there you can see the average weight of the items that go to make up a medium-sized pack. And these are available, as I say, in 5 different sizes, and still even the extra large is below a kilo. Now the back length goes from very petite midgets from 4 foot right through to the extra large size, which they say is good for Ethiopians, up to 6'7". So it does cover a fair range, and it's the only one in their range that covers that wide range of back lengths. Then of course you've got the optional hip belt, and it's always best to get the right one to suit your particular svelte figure, as they say. So that's the Mariposa in all its technical glory. Now of course, as part and parcel of the descriptions on this particular rucksack, the back lengths are an important part of getting the right rucksack. If you can't call in for a visit, for a fitting, then you need to check your back length before you order the right one. And here's a little bit of a video to show you how to do that. Of course, the little red rings you put around your neck and around your waist are optional, but if you can find somebody with a tape measure to measure from those particular parts of your body, then you'll get the right back length and hopefully the right rucksack that will last you a long time and give you many happy trips. Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed that. If you've missed us, or if this is the first time you've come across the Outdoor Station video, then here's how to subscribe to all our various outputs.
Since 2005, over 8 million people have listened to the Outdoor Station audio podcasts, and over 5 million have watched the videos. You can subscribe to the Outdoor Station in numerous ways. Visit the website and select the link to your chosen social media network.
And that's it. Thanks very much indeed for watching. I hope you found this informative and interesting. And as I say, there are more videos coming very soon from us. I'm sorry about the delay in the last few releases, but that's how it's life, things get in the way. So here we go. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.